Update 2. At Easter dinner, my daughter announced, I'm changing my last name to Stepmom. She's more of a mom than anyone. I buttered my roll and stayed silent. By next week, her law school application was missing key references, and the family friend at the firm stopped returning calls. Funny how those connections trace back to my mom. Then Marcus, then unknown numbers I assumed were Diana's. I let them all go to voicemail and continue with my work at the legal aid clinic where I volunteered for 15 years building relationships while building a better community. Vivon, my colleague Janet said, poking her head into my office. There's a young woman here asking for you. Says she's your daughter. I looked up from the brief I was reviewing. Sent her in. Chloe entered looking polished as always. Deanna's influence evident in the designer suit and perfect makeup. But there was something frantic in her eyes. Mom, she started then caught herself. Vivian, how can I help you? I kept my tone professional, the same one I use with clients. My law school applications. Everything's falling apart. Judge Hawkins won't write my recommendation. Professor Chen says the research position is filled. Brennan and Associates hasn't returned my calls. That's unfortunate. Have you spoken to Diana? I'm sure her connections could help. Close perfectly composed. Fix it cracked. Diana's connections are all corporate mergers and acquisitions. Not the public interest law I want to pursue. Not the judges and professors and partners, you know. I see. Mom, please. I know what I said at Easter was hurtful. Hurtful? I set down my pen. Chloe, you announced to our entire family that you're changing your name because Diana is more of a mother than I've ever been. That's not hurtful. That's a choice. A clear public choice about who you consider family. I didn't mean yes, you did. You've been meaning it for 2 years. Every time you had Diana review your applications instead of me. Every time you skipped our lunches to network at her firm. Every time you posted on social media about your real mentor while I was apparently just the woman who gave birth to you. That's not fair. No, what's not fair is expecting to use my connections while publicly downing me. What's not fair is thinking you can take another woman's name and keep the network I built over 22 years of sacrifice. So, you're sabotaging my future over a name? I laughed short and sharp. I'm not sabotaging anything. I'm respecting your choice. Diana is more of a mother to you. Then let Diana's network support you. Let Diana's connections open doors. Let Diana's reputation vouch for your character. You know she can't. Can't what? Provide what I can. Then maybe you should have thought about that before announcing she's more of a mother than anyone. Chloe sank into the chair across from my desk. The Brennan internship, that was my dream position. No, that was my favor being called in. Robert Brennan hired you because 20 years ago I worked myself sick saving his career. Judge Hawkins was going to recommend you because I volunteered on her campaign while you were in diapers. Professor Chen offered you that position because I've been guest lecturing in his class for a decade. I didn't know because you never asked. You assumed doors open because of your merit. Maybe with a little boost from Diana's flash. You never saw the invisible network of relationships I built, favor by favor, year by year, all while raising you alone. What am I supposed to do now? Apply to law school on your own merits, build your own network, earn your own recommendations, you know, all the things Diana's been teaching you about being a strong woman in law. This could ruin my chances at top schools. Or it could teach you that success isn't just about who you know, but about who knows you, who trusts you, who's willing to put their reputation on the line for you. I returned to my brief that takes years to build and seconds to destroy. She left without another word. Over the next weeks, I heard through the grapevine about her struggles. The Hannah's corporate connections were useless for public interest law. The professors and judges who might have helped wouldn't touch an applicant who publicly disowned the woman vouching for her. Marcus called once, angry and blustering about my vindictiveness. I reminded him that I was simply respecting our daughter's clearly stated wishes about who her real family was. She's changing her name to Diana's, I said calmly. Why would you want recommendations from someone who's not really her mother? The last I heard, Chloe had taken a gap year, working as a paralegal at a small firm to build her own connections. Diana's interest in her stepdaughter cooled considerably once the prestigious law school trajectory hit roadblocks. 6 months later, I received a letter handwritten, not emailed. Chloe's careful script on cream stationery. Mom, it began. Not Vivian. Mom, I spent 6 months learning what you tried to teach me for 22 years. That real connections aren't made at networking events, but in the trenches. That respect is earned through service, not status. That the most powerful people are often the ones working quietly in the background, building relationships, one act of kindness at a time. I was a fool. Worse, I was cruel. I let Diana's flash blind me to your substance. I confused her 3 martini lunches with actual mentorship while you were building a network through midnight case prep and weekend volunteering. I'm not asking for your connections back. I'm not asking for recommendations or introductions. I'm just asking if maybe someday you could forgive the daughter who forgot that the strongest women don't need to announce their strength. They just live it every day. The way you have my entire life. I love you and I'm keeping my name. The one you gave me. The one I'm finally proud to carry. Your daughter. Always. Your daughter. Hello? I sat with the letter for a long time, then picked up my phone. Judge Hawkins answered on the second ring. Patricia, it's Vivon about that recommendation letter we discussed. Because that's what mothers do. Even when their children forget, even when it hurts, even when they have to learn the hard way that some connections run deeper than networking events and name changes, they stay connected. Even when the line seems severed, ready to rebuild when the foundation is strong enough to hold the weight of real relationship again. But the lesson that has to stick. Some bridges once rebuilt are stronger for having been tested. Even if the testing nearly breaks everyone involved, this is where our story comes to end. Dear listeners, please share your thoughts in the comments section below, and don't forget to like, share, and follow. Thanks to all for your support.